Hi, I'm Matt at level 6. I'm going to show you how to do a neck gasket replacement today. Getting around our Velcro neck enclosure on one of our dry tops or dry suits. And we're going to use the same tools that we use for all of the repairs that we have that come through. For our tools, all we use is a marker, some sandpaper, really sharp scissors. We'll need a few elastic bands, something to hold your garment, and then something to go inside the neck gasket so that you have something to glue against. We always use Aqua when we're doing our gasket replacements. It's flexible, but it holds really great glue. So the first thing you want to do is turn your garment inside out. In this case, we're using a Duke dry top. Once you've got it inside out, you can fully expose the neck gasket. Then you're going to take your form and put that in from the inside. We use a big block of canoe or kayak foam, and we've cut it down to the right size of our neck hole. You want to make sure that you get it in as far as possible so that you have the whole neck closure on a flat surface so that you have something to glue against. Once you've got this whole thing in place, what I like to do is take an elastic and I wrap it all the way around, and this will just help keep it sealed up against the form that you're using. I want to have it below the existing gasket, usually on the seam tape, so that you're not going to accidentally glue it to the garment. Just like that. From here, you want to take this excess material and jam it into whatever you're going to use. This is just a simple bucket, and it just keeps all the excess material out of the way so you don't accidentally get glue on it. The next step is you're going to take your new gasket and line it up on top of the old one. And then this is going to give you the opportunity to set up a mark as to where you're going to cut the old one, because we're going to actually glue the new gasket onto the bottom of the old one. If there's not enough of the old one left to glue to because it's completely torn out, then you're going to want to glue this really close or right on top of the seam tape that's there. So I'm going to line this up so that my elastic is just barely showing all the way around, because that elastic, I have it lined up on the seam tape, and I want this to pretty much sit right there above the blue line. So from here I'm going to take another elastic, and this is going to be to hold the new gasket in place. You want to have about an inch all the way around, just like that, nice and even. And then you can roll your new gasket up, and you're going to want to mark a line all the way around on the old gasket so you know where to cut it. Again, if you don't have any gasket left to glue to, then you can pretty much skip this step. So now you can take the old one off again, and you can cut the old gasket. Your scissors that you're using when you're cutting gaskets, if they're regular office scissors or play scissors, they're probably not going to cut the rubber very well, even if you pull it tight. After you've got the old gasket cut off, you're going to want to take your new gasket, put it on again, line it up to where you had it, right above your first elastic. And you want to secure this on there. This is where you really want to make sure that your next elastic, maybe it's 2, is actually going to hold it on, because once you've got your Aqua Seal going on, if it slips off, you're just in a world of trouble. So once you've got your new gasket on and everything's lined up, you're going to roll it back up. Make sure you know where you're going to glue. Before you start adding glue or Aqua Seal to this, you want to rough up your 2 gaskets so that there's a little bit of a groove for your Aqua Seal to adhere to. So all you need is some sandpaper. I use some really rough 60 grit, and you just scrape all the way around on both sides, one on the new, one on the old. You go all the way around. You can go around twice if you really need to or really want to. The next step is to apply your Aqua Seal. So what you're going to want to have ready is your gasket flipped up, and then your Aqua Seal ready to go. If you're using a fresh tube, make sure you cut a small hole in there so it just doesn't come flying out. I like putting a little bit of Aqua Seal down onto a piece of cardboard, just like that. And then I can scoop up as much as I need and not have a whole bunch of excess. We actually reuse a bunch of these little plastic stir sticks, and they work really well to smear the Aqua Seal on. If you want to use a brush, you can use a brush. You can go straight from the tube as well if you really like. I find these work really well because you can go a little bit at a time and you never have too much. So you want to take your Aqua Seal and you're going to start on one side, doesn't matter if it's the top or bottom. Give it a good generous coat. And you want to go all the way around, sticking to either the bottom or the top, wherever you've started. That way it gives it a little bit of time to get tacky before you actually press the two sides together. Once you've got your Aqua Seal all the way around, the next step is to roll your new gasket over top so that your two sides that have Aqua Seal on them make the seal. And you want to have a little bit, tiny bit of squeeze out at the bottom. That way you know that Aqua Seal has filled the void between the two gaskets all the way around. You'll go all the way around and just make sure that you're pressing the two pieces together. Again, looking for that squeeze out. Once you've gone all the way around and you're pretty confident that it's secured, you're probably gonna have some rolls along the bottom edge, and that's normal. From here, to get rid of these rolls, you're gonna take one or both of your elastics that are around your mold, and you're gonna put them on as close to the edge as you can get them without getting Aqua Seal on them. If you get Aqua Seal on to these elastics, they will glue right to the rubber, and then when you peel it off, there's a chance that it'll lift your gasket. So you want to be really careful when you're doing this, that you don't get Aqua Seal on them. Last but not least, if you have a little bit of Aqua Seal squeezing out, then you can just take another one of your tools and you can clean up the edge just by pulling up the excess, and you can wipe it off onto wherever you've got your Aqua Seal. And that's how you do a neck gasket. From here, you want to let it sit for about 8 hours. If you can leave it overnight, that's even better. At the end, you can pull off your elastics and everything should be good to go.